Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm back here again. Yeah, I've been thinking of starting like just a new series, somewhere to actually start off at. And I've come to the abrupt conclusion right about now that I should do something called common interests. Because what better way to develop a bond between one and one's audience? Okay. It's going to be a series. There's going to be part one through part eight or whatever's going on with that. It's going to be around that, at least 6 to 8 of them. Part one is, for me right now, it's a very big part of my life growing up from when, alright, before I say anything else, just part one, music, okay? I'm not even gonna start where, I started picking up live instruments and stuff like that or writing. I'm just gonna start pretty basic. Music is universal, it's worldwide. Think about it, have you ever loved a song that's in a completely different language than one that you understand? So you don't even know what they're saying. And you're not even gonna go and try to have it translated online to be like, yeah, now I know the lyrics. You might, but chances are you listen to it and you're vibing out and you're like, wow, it's amazing. And you bump it all the time. You meet up with some friends. You show that you're so excited that you show your friends the song, because you hope that they'll have the same feeling that you have. That proves it right there. You know what I mean? Music truly does transcend time, in a way that's hard to fully understand, there's in most things in life, there's that language barrier, and with music, it doesn't seem to prevent people from being able to enjoy a tune. They may not understand what it means, or if they're gonna find out what it means, they're gonna have to put in a little bit of effort to find out. But the thing is, you can just sit back and relax, and you can feel what somebody's feeling, even if they're halfway across the world. You know what I mean? And age has no factor. You know what I mean? It could be an old guy playing a song on guitar, and some kid who's 15 fucking understands. You know what I mean? So anyways, listening, that's when music started with me. I'm sorry, these are strange camera angles for me because I have this, um, my phone is being held up currently by my steering wheel at a very weird angle, and I don't know. Whew. Alright, so moving on, listening to music. That's usually how everybody gets their initial buffer into the music world, okay? For me, listening to music, it was vast. When I was a kid, you're driving around, your parents are playing anything on the radio, or you know what I mean? Back then it was tape cassettes. I'm not that old. I'm not ancient or anything like that, but I'm not like really young like these kids born in like 2003 and shit like that. I was born in 1990. Okay, so I'm a 90s cat, and so I would listen to an array of songs, but then when I started to get a taste for music myself, things that I found myself interested in, were groups, bands, solo artists such as Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, Kid Rock, Eminem, basically all of the artists that were once featured in the best show of all time, hands down, Celebrity Deathmatch. I don't know if you guys remember that show, but it was amazing. Oh my God, hilarious. So anyways, I had a various taste right from the jump. I was into some type of punk rock stuff, some loud stuff, some classical rock. I was into hip hop and stuff like that. So ever since a young age, I never fell victim to just one genre, and a lot of times people do that. They fall victim to one genre, and then so people who are into rock will be like, hip hop sucks or screw that, and then vice versa. Like me, I've always been open minded, even since I was a kid, I guess, with my taste in music. Um, all right, so it went from listening, slowly started going to learning. At the age of 13, I was gifted by my parents with my first guitar ever. They knew I was a lefty at everything, sports, whatever, you name it, I'm left-handed. So they got me a left-handed guitar. Nifty little trick most people know, if they know music, it's that you can take a right-handed guitar and you can flip it, there's the fretboard and everything like that. You go up to the top and you invert the strings, you know what I mean? E, A, D, G, B, E, but you're you're probably going to be laying it down, differently. You can do that. That will save you a lot of money because most guitars that are made left-handed means the price goes up. The price is going up for left-handed guitars, okay? My first one was like $200, then $650, then the third one I got was $1,200. That $1,200, it is a Gibson SG, black, like wood finish, but like black, shiny, like it's great, you know what I mean? I also saw one that's like more of a wood finish instead of a glossy finish, so you can see the difference, but it's like, oh man, it's like turquoise or teal or something. It's such a rare color for a guitar, and I wanted that one, but I didn't see that one. When I got that, I went to Guitar Center in North Attleboro, and I got that. And I was pumped, dude, because I got that, and I got a half stack. For those of you who know what half stacks are, very loud amplifiers. A full stack would beat a half stack. That's why half full, okay? So you get a big-ass cabinet, and then you got the head to power it. So I had a lot of fun growing up with music and stuff like that. My best friends at the time were Tom and Pat. They are brothers, about 9 years, about 9 months apart. Irish twins. But so we were growing up together. We formed a 3-piece band. I played electric guitar and did vocals. My buddy Tom did bass guitar and did vocals, and his younger brother Pat played drums. And like it was just, that was our niche, if you will, niche, whatever. That was our niche for a long time, is because that was our thing, man. And we built it up by ourselves. We learned by ourselves. I tried taking lessons a couple times, and that didn't really pan out. I do not know how to read sheet music for the life of me. We learned a lot of things before we could learn them by ear, because obviously you don't start out that good. We learned how to play tabs. You can look these things up online called tabs, and instead of being little signs like open music note with a closed one and blah blah blah, I don't know that, okay? So they put it in layman's terms or whatever, okay? O, you'll see O, 1, 2, all the way up to however many is on the fretboard, okay? O is open, 0, and then 1 would be you put your finger on the first one. It's very easy to understand, so easy, okay? And that is how we learned. We did a lot of cover songs. We covered most, I would say, Rancid, Little Operation Ivy, stuff like that, No Effects. The Casualties was a big one. We really liked doing a lot of their songs. And then even softer things like easier things, Blink-182, Green Day, stuff like that. So as we got more into our instruments, we got into like different types like post-hardcore. I liked a lot of that stuff because the riffs, the guitar breakdowns and everything, the solos, I loved it all. And we got into like harder stuff that was a little harder than punk rock, like on guitar and on bass and drums, everything, because we wanted to challenge ourselves, okay? And that's what a lot of people do, is they push themselves and they try to ascend to new heights. The next topic I would say is going to be called the transition for me. I always had great writing skills. Like even when I grew up in school, I was very good at creative writing. So it goes hand in hand to say that I'd be pretty good with my lyricism, okay? Even when I got the guitar at 13, I started getting into writing lyrics because we had a couple originals as well, okay? Not everything was a cover. We had about 4 originals, and I'd written 2 of them, and then we all wrote 2 of the other ones. So I was always big into lyrics and composing music and stuff like that. I loved it. I found it fascinating. I still find it fascinating, all right? But this was my transition, okay? So I went from live instruments to all of a sudden learning about making instrumentals. Somebody told me about it. They said, oh, you mess with live instruments. Oh, have you ever done anything? Like, they started listing very basic things, Fruity Loops and stuff. Then Ableton Live, and there's just so many others, okay? So there's all these different programs. You learn how to use them to the best of your ability, and you can mix, you can master, you can engineer, you can record other people. You can take a track from the very beginning to the very end using programs, okay? So that was the new wave of our generation, okay? Before, it was you had microphones recording live instruments, okay? So you might have like 4 or 5 mics up to different parts of the drums, and you might have the live guitar and well, guitar guitars differed a little bit at a certain point. But anyways, my point is I started to transition into something that was not necessarily handheld. I'm still like, it's like click and drag, okay, put it that way. So it took a lot of the fun out of it for me, but I did learn how to compose and put stuff together better because of this, okay? So there's always a pro and a con to something new. And to this day, I still don't know much about engineering, which is just a common process of mixing and mastering tracks before they're finalized and eventually put out. Okay, so leading up to right before you put out that final product, you're going to want something mixed and mastered to the best of its ability. So, I don't know. These are just some basic things that I've been going through. Then I got into something called the art of freestyle, freestyle rapping and everything like that. So, anyways, with the art of freestyle, I practiced alone all the time, probably from the ages of 21 to 25. I'd practice by myself alone. I'd practice with people, and we used to drink back then and do whatever, so we'd get a nice buzz on and everything would just start flowing. But then I challenged myself to start doing it without that, you know what I mean? Like maybe I'm not fully fuel injected, because for years I was, and I dealt with that, But I wanted to fall in love with something and be very passionate about something just because of that's what it is and that's what it means to me, okay? I don't want to have to put a substance in between me and doing something. All right, so the best advice I can give is that when I'm spitting bars number 1 and 2, my brain is already on 3 and 4, and maybe even ahead of that. That's how you get a nice flow to continuously go on in a freestyle. If you're trying to come up with if you're finishing the second bar and you're just still thinking about what to say for the first couple words on the third bar, you're probably in trouble. You're going to notice it. You're going to be able to hear it. Others will be able to hear it, So that was the most important thing, is to have my brain firing on all cylinders, all right, consistently. And I don't know, basically if you can keep the pace and you can lead the entire time, every time, then that's when you know you're there, okay? And it's great. The reason I said the art of freestyle is because it's an art in and of itself, okay? Yeah, it's a type of way that you go about doing your music, but it's a whole different category, man. It is so wild, and it's just, I find it genius. I think it's great. So anyways, in 2010, another band was formed. Okay, our old band, the punk rock band, was called Live to Die. LTD is what LTD stood for, Live to Die. It was like, what's the point? Like, we're living on the edge. We're all gonna go out one day anyway, so let's make the best of it. That was the idea behind the name. Now in 2010, another band was formed, and we called this THC because we were marijuana advocates, okay? I still am. There's nothing wrong with marijuana, okay? I don't even look at it as a drug, compared to other things. But that's a different video, okay? So, anyways, THC, the high community. The roster changed up quite a few times. Our initial outlook on what we wanted for the band was going to be live instruments, okay? We're talking guitar, drums, bass, and then other things as well. Probably a synthesizer, definitely, if we're going to be putting punk rock and rap together. Punk rock, rap, hip-hop, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be mixing genres. We wanted it to be creative. We wanted it to be abstract and different. Different is the key, okay? And, that's what we wanted. What we ended up with in the end is pretty much a 3-piece hip-hop group. It was me, my friend Evan, and my friend Mike, okay? And we all wrote lyrics, and we all contributed. We wrote choruses together and everything, and it was great. The creative juices were flowing. We loved it. At first, we did 4 self-made mixtapes. My buddy just made these beats using, like, low-grade software. We just didn't care. We just wanted to put stuff out and, like, start to get a feel for everything, And the lyrics were always there, which is what I loved about us. Maybe the deliveries aren't as good, like my buddy Evan sounds 10 times better now, that was stuff from 2010, and I know I could lay down tracks with production quality that sounds 10 times better as well. It's just what we were working with back then. But We had fun, and that's all that mattered to me, dude. Looking back on it, it was great, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Okay? Basically, it was after those four self-made mixtapes, we had a fifth one that was just a combination of everything. We took the best tracks from all four of them and put them onto the fifth and final one called Connected the Dots, because you take all the ones and you connect the dots and you get a great picture. You understand? So we're painting a picture with lyrics, with words. So we had the five self-made mixtapes, and then we started working on our first full-length album, which is called The Original Addiction. So we made 1,000 of those and just started selling them ourselves, and I think I still have like 172 or something like that left out of the 1,000. But it was fun. Like, obviously, we made our money back. Dude, I'm not even going to get into the statistics of it, because when you buy in bulk, you save money. So that's it. But anyways, so I would say the hardest part with all the music is in the midst of like my addiction and everything like that. I started to lose my passion for music between, you know, I'd say definitely between 24 or 25 years old, and now I'm 29 now. So the past 4 years, my love for music and my drive to try to make better tracks and everything, woo, right out the window. You know what I mean? I couldn't even focus on that. Let alone, it felt like I didn't even want to. The depression was so real, it's so raw, and I still struggle with that, but I'm good. Little side note on that. I already have it over a year clean now. I've been at it for the past 10 years trying to do good, off and on, off and on. I've had over a year before. I've had 14 months. So it's not completely new to me, but this time just feels great because I don't have it in the back of my mind. There's no like reservations or anything like that. But like I said a couple minutes ago, that's going to be a different video to say the least. So, but yeah, this was just me briefly touching base upon something, that I wanted to talk about, which is music and my love for it. I find it fascinating, and I'm sure millions of other people do too. It's a great way to connect people from opposite sides of the world, or people who can't speak the same language. You can always find a common interest in music. That's why part one of my common interest is music, okay? I'm going to start writing and working on part two and part three, which I already know what they are. I just didn't get into them. I want to elaborate a little bit on it. That's why these end up being more lengthy, because I'm just kind of rambling, but I'm also going off a couple of things that I wrote down and stuff like that. So I wanted to just get that out there. I'm just grateful, to have a bunch of these things, common interests. It's great for us to have things that we're interested in and things that we love, hobbies. You lose track of that stuff as time goes on in life, and it's good to rekindle that and to spark that flame again. So, basically, I've recently gotten back into writing a little bit. So the question is, will I actually fall in love with music all over again? Or will I not? Only time will tell. Thank you for tuning in to part one of my series entitled Common Interests, Music. Okay, please be sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. In fact, while you're at it, why not click the subscribe button and follow me on my new journey here on YouTube. Alright? I'm out, guys. Stay safe, be blessed, and live lavishly. Peace.